recorded on VHS and downloaded to cassette for maximum audio quality.
Outer Banks hammocks for the ultimate lay. obxhammocks.com on the web. Savage Surfboards since 1982. Know your shaper. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Surf Shorts. Today I've got with me Mike. What's up, dude?
All right.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Good to see you, sir.
Man, you know how we really got to know each other is, do you remember the way we really got to know each other was an archaeology class?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was crazy, man.
Orton Plantation or Charleston.
Yeah, like the original Charleston. People from the East Coast, if you don't know, now you'll know. Charleston, the original Charleston was Wilmington.
And they got run off.
Yeah, they did. They got run off. And then I think this is the right story. We're going to talk about surfing, people, I promise. I think this is the right story. When they got run off, they were Spanish. And then when they got run off from the Cape Fear area, they went down to Charleston and basically cut the road that is now 17, and that's why it's called King's Highway. Is that right?
I don't think so. So they got rejected by
it turned into
the Indians and the weather.
Yeah.
Spat them out, and they went back to Barbados. They were British. And the King's Highway, as from what I understand, was different set of people, different set of... but where we were digging in, over there by Southport.
Right.
It was the same people. Me and Sean went to Barbados.
Yeah.
And dug the same stuff, the same artifacts that were here were down there in Barbados.
Oh, that's cool.
It was. We were right by, we were in Bathsheba in a little dorm. It was an Anglican seminary. And we lived in there, and then Bathsheba, or Sioux Bowls was 10 minutes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was nice. It was great.
Oh, yeah, it was pumping.
Dr. Lawfield. I don't know if you ever had him. Oh, yeah, you had him we were in the class.
Yeah.
So he would let us partake from stuff growing on campus like mushrooms.
Oh.
That trip got canceled from somebody having too many of those at UNCW. They ran their mouth. But yeah, I mean, me and Sean were so lucky.
Yeah.
And then I went to Costa Rica. I had 16 credits worth of A's going into UNCW from surf trips.
Dude, that's how you kids listening today, high school kids. That's how you do it. You get A's from surf trips. It's just, if you want to know how to do it, just email us. Actually, I have no idea how Mike pulled that off.
You graduated, right? You're a UNCW alumni.
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I graduated from UNCW marine biology. Yeah,
that's the path of for surfers.
Yeah, it was a surfer path. And I actually did work as a marine biologist for a little while, or did some marine biology stuff.
California?
I worked for Richard Soselski, who's a guy that owns basically like it was tours in a school around here. It's Carolina Ocean Studies. It still exists. It was a very high quality field trips for kids. And then we'd go on a boat and we'd go to the south end of Mace. We always called that break down there chocolates, but we would go, because the water's chocolate.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we would go and take a boat just from CB and just shuffle up the waterway and pin it on the south end of Mace. And then, he had it all set up, and it was something else. It was very sincerely a lot of education for a lot of kids. It was a really cool thing.
Did you go through the inlet there?
I've sailed through that inlet on my boat. It's sketchy. Yeah. But no, this was like, we would take like a winter boat, one of the winter boats, and never got in the inlet. There's a deep spot, right at the hook at the south end of Mace, and he would just ram it up on the beach there. Yeah. So now we're going to talk today before we talk about your story, let's talk about our buddy Sean, because I mentioned him on one of the last couple of shows, or one when I was talking to Sean O'Donnell from Savage Surfboards. Mm-hmm. Sean was an awesome dude. I was explaining him to my daughter actually on one of these last trips, somebody that I certainly looked up to. Everybody knew him on the beach. Everybody.
I'm still friends with all of the people that he lived with, like Jeff Potter, Jason Potter,
That's
Jeff,
right,
Jason Todd, those guys from.
Yeah.
I'm still in touch with those guys.
That's cool.
Yeah, I want to go to his graveside, and pour some beer on it.
Yeah.
Up in Cary.
For real. Yeah. You know, the thing with Sean for me was I was gone. I was in Puerto Rico. It was before cell phones, before anything.
Yeah.
And I left, and we shared some other mutual friends from Raleigh, like a girl I used to date, and it's just a huge part of my life. This girl was a huge part of my life for a long time. She was a wonderful person, and you know, and then I came back, and in the time we had only been gone for 2 weeks, and then in that time, he had been killed, and it was devastating.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So anyway, a shout out to our buddy Sean Money, y'all, and he was a great dude. And there's a lot of people riding in their cars right now just nodding their heads going, Sean was the man. He literally had it all going on. He really did.
He really did. He's a good old dude, man.
Yeah. For sure. So, you know, that's how you and I got to know each other. We were in a class with Sean.
We were grafting quadrants and digging them out and then recording what we found.
In the mosquitoes and the heat on an archaeological dig.
It's pretty gnarly.
It was gnarly. I remember we got like a belt buckle. We got a shoe buckle or something. We got a couple of cool things out of the ground. I was like, this is insane.
We got a shackle in Barbados. When we were doing it here, it was I think it was a pipe. We got a pipe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or a piece of a pipe.
Yeah.
But it was the same Brits that were doing it. You know, they got spat out. They went back to Barbados. They regrouped, and then they went to South Carolina, and South Carolina was nicer to them.
Oh, so they didn't. So you're saying that did become Charleston from this, but it was just Wilmington, Barbados, and then Charleston.
Yes.
Gotcha.
10 years maybe between.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And, you know, my daughter was asking me, we were in Beaufort recently, you know, I love Beaufort.
Yeah.
Shackleford Banks. I mean, come on.
How could you not like that?
Dude. So we're up there, and that town is nearly 300 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's old. And she was like, well, how is this place so old? Why was it? And I was like, well, let's look around. There's a deep inlet that is dangerous, but for back then was a consistently deep inlet. And then you're back here in this creek we're in. The creek, you know, Taylor's Creek that runs right in front of Beaufort between it and Rachel Carson.
Yeah.
Dude, it's deep. I mean, it's deep, and it stays deep. So I was like, this is it. Like, it's the geography that brought people here.
It's Outer Banks, southern tip.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. And it's the same reason that Charleston's there. Like Charleston,
Exactly.
I mean, that's it.
Horses running wild.
Yeah, we saw some horses. It was cool, man.
Man, I had a brand new board. I came over a dune. Here comes about 3 of horses running at me. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah.
The break's gone, isn't it? Or...
It is, but you can still, like, I didn't go all the way over. First, well, the end of the island that's over beside of the inlet is gone.
Yeah.
It's totally, I mean, like, literally geographically, that's not even there.
Yeah.
Right? So you can look across the water to, I guess, Gunmount. So like that's all gone. The shack side is gone. But where you cross now, if you just go over on your boat or whatever and you walk across some of the main trail through the horses, you can still see why it breaks. When I was there just last week, and it was just like a little bit windy, and it was choppy, but still it was thundering on these sandbars.
Yeah.
And I was walking with my lady, and I was trying to explain. I was like, look, you know, like, okay, just imagine this is clean, and then the tide is just a little bit higher, and it gets over. There's kind of a little shoal out there.
Yeah.
So if the tide was just a little higher, it got over that shoal without breaking. It's going to be just thundering right here on the stand. And then I found myself talking to myself, and she was walking down the beach board, looking for shells. But yeah, shack is pretty incredible.
I've been there maybe 3 times, and I had a blast all 3 times.
Oh yeah. I think shack for me. There's some clips of Ben surfing there in a hurricane on some surf video, and it's
Killing it.
Just and it's just going off. It's before it was done. Now, much better than Shaq. You were living in Hawaii for a long time. Where'd you live?
I lived basically the North Shore, up country, mostly in Maui. And I lived pretty much in every town that's considered up country, which is Maui's got a North Shore, but it's different than Oahu's North Shore.
Okay.
Oahu's really the destination in the islands, except for Kauai. But Maui's got like maybe 2 spots that are on Oahu's level. Or maybe there's more than that, but they're spread out.
Right.
And it's different times of year that they light up. But I lived in Paia, which is like kind of the last. There's a road trip out there to this town called Hana, and it's like the trip itself is the road, and it's like real windy. And I lived right where the road starts getting windy. When I first moved there, I owned a retail store for the first maybe a year and a half, 2 years almost.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Obviously, surfing would bring you there, but how did you make it happen?
How I got there was pretty wild. I got there by accident.
Okay,
But I wanted to go to Hawaii when I was 14 years old. My dad was in the military, and he had orders for Kaneohe on Oahu that my mom kind of said, no, we can't do that, and put her foot down. And so we didn't do that. But I went to high school on base at Camp Lejeune.
Okay.
And I had classmates that were talking pidgin.
Oh,
Military brats.
yeah.
That had been over there for 3 or 4 years. So I always wanted to go to Hawaii, but I didn't get out there till I had finished UNCW. I was 28 when I moved.
Okay.
Or no, wait, was I 29? I turned 30 out there. I turned 40 out there. My son was born out there. I got married out there. Like, it's home to me.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like it.
I went back in November for the first time in 11 years. That's a whole other story, but.
How much had it changed?
A little bit. It's hard to, where I lived, not so much, but the rest of the island, a lot. Put it this way. When I landed at the airport, when I first came back, I got lost leaving the airport.
Yeah, and you're from there. Yeah, basically. You lived there forever.
They redid the roads. They redid the airport. They redid the whole area. And like, I walked up, I was walking into the Walmart that was still where it had been, I was asking some local guy, like, is this the same Walmart?
Yeah, yeah.
And it was, but I did not know where I was.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I felt better because I've talked to a couple of people who hadn't been there for that same length of time. I'm not alone, apparently. But Kahului, that's where my son was born. It used to be pretty straightforward, and I drove limos. I worked for tour companies.
So you knew the area well.
Well.
They literally just moved the roads.
Yes. They put in a new one that's like 6 lanes. It's a super highway or whatever. And it's partitioned off. And when I got my luggage from the airport, I had to walk across, and then I took a train to the rental car company. I didn't know where I was at all. It was like surreal. I have never been so freaked out.
Yeah.
I had to use my Waze to get out of the airport in Kahului.
Yeah.
And like, I'm embarrassed to say that I had to do that.
Yeah.
I used to pick people up from the airport and take them to their hotels.
Oh, there's somebody listening that's like, oh, I get it. I know what they did out there.
Oh, it was crazy. Yeah.
So you were out there, and so you were saying, we were talking before we started recording. You saw a lot of things change.
Oh, yeah.
When you were there.
Kite surfing.
Yeah, kite surfing, just like,
overnight.
Yeah, overnight. Like there was sailboarding.
Oh, yeah. There still is, but not like it. Kite surfing stole it.
Oh, for sure.
Wave sailing is the last little holdout.
Yeah.
Like the guys with the sails riding big waves.
Yeah.
And that's pretty ballsy.
It's rad.
Mast high waves, forget about it.
Yeah, no, there's no way. And I've done a lot of sailing. I've done a lot of surfing. I can't imagine putting them together like that.
Yeah, I never tried on the boards, but I tried once on a kite surfboard. Like my roommate at the time, I worked with a guy who was a 3-time world champion kite surfer who was part of the group of people that started or created the sport.
Yeah.
And he was like kind of like Michael Jackson. Like he was really good at this one thing, but he was not good at anything else.
Yeah,
He's not a good communicator.
Yeah,
he took me out there. I almost died, literally. Yeah. He put me on the rig and I got the thing up in there, and I started getting dragged towards the parking lot. My shorts were filling up with sand, and it wasn't coming off. And then finally the thing came down and almost took somebody out on the beach.
And you're just like apologizing.
I'm done.
Dude.
Yeah. I got dragged for probably 50 feet.
And you're just trying to stop yourself.
Yeah. People have been dragged like that to their death.
Oh, yeah. No, I've seen
Yes,
videos of people
serious.
like blown up out of the water and landing
No joke.
in
Yeah.
elevated parking lots on top of cars and stuff. Yeah.
My friend had lost several friends that way, and it was a touchy subject. And his name was Mark. Flash was his handle. And
There you go.
this guy doesn't have a presence on the internet at all, and he created the sport.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I kind of like that about him.
Yeah. I mean, there's some dudes around here that are really good big wave surfers.
Oh yeah,
And then like, but it's not all on the internet and they don't post all their stuff. They just do it.
respect. Yeah,
Yeah, I totally respect that. Yeah.
You have to ask them what's going on.
Yeah.
One that, I met a guy that was that's a local here, who knew everybody that I asked him from Maui, from being on Oahu.
Yeah.
He knew every single person I asked him about, and I was just like, okay, this guy is
That's
on
cool.
point.
Yeah. Off the air, we'll talk and see if we're talking about some of the same people.
I bet you know this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So then you saw kiteboarding evolve, and Tony D from Wrightsville Beach. I don't know if you know him.
I remember him.
Yeah,
I don't.
dude.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Oh, he's
Is he a
super
kiter?
good. Yeah, he's a kiter. He was a great surfer, and then all of a sudden, like, he's doing this new thing, and I'm like, what? That's cool, for me. But I was like, surfing. I was like, but you're good at surfing, man. You're really good at surfing. And then we're down near the south end one day, and he's out there just ripping on this thing. And it's like choppy, chest high,
He's
whatever. And he's kiteboarding, right? And so I was like, man, he's having much more fun than I am.
Yeah.
And getting a lot more waves. And so I catch a wave or whatever. I go up to the beach. I'm standing there. I'm like chilling out. And then he comes flying kind of like down towards the jetty. And he pops that kite and he goes, woof. And he floats kind of over everybody's head.
Nice.
And takes his board off as he's doing it. And this lands on his feet up on the top of the beach. And I was like,
Okay.
oh my God. Like, that's cool. I'm going to try to get Tony D on here. Tony, if you're listening, bring it.
My buddy, his nickname was Frenchie, but he would surf with his kite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he would literally be going down the line. Here comes a closeout section, over it. And then when it's time to paddle back out, he'd get yanked back out there by the kite.
Yeah.
He would be mostly surfing for 4 hours straight.
Yeah.
4 hours, I'd catch maybe 8 waves that weren't to myself.
Yeah.
He got a lot of water time. He got a lot of riding time in.
Yeah. And that's cool.
It's,
Yeah. It's all cool. That's something I tell my kids, my high school teacher, I'm like, get a foam board. You can ride that foam board almost all the time.
A fun or a foam?
Foam.
Oh, yeah,
Get a foam board. You can ride it almost all the time. And then, and then sharpen your skills or whatever. And like, don't go for the shortest, pointiest, coolest looking thing. And most kids don't do that nowadays, which is very different than what it was for us.
Oh, yeah, potato chips.
Jesus, yeah.
I'm a big Ben Gravy fan, man. I got a
Yeah,
foam
me
board.
too. Yeah.
You see him surfing the river?
I did.
So 10
I did.
years
I was a
ago.
little bummed out because we had exchanged a message online. He's like, yeah, I'll come on your show. And I was like, cool. And I didn't keep harping on him, which is what I think you really need to do with someone that's that busy.
Yeah.
But he came and I was like, oh man, I wish I would have kept on him because I could have, got a little bit of his time. Maybe it was cool surfing the river.
He's got a lot of aloha spirit, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's a rad dude. And you know what? I was thinking about you and Sean when I saw that river episode, because we stood there at the dig site and we watched some waves break and we're like, you could totally surf this.
I rode the same wave 10 years ago that Gravy.
Oh,
rode.
you did? You rode it?
I was at work as a tour guide for stand-up paddleboards out of the state park in Carolina Beach
Okay. So you were there already.
by accident.
Yeah.
I had 2 clients. I had 2 women that were like yoga ladies behind me. And they, like, if I had known the wave was coming
Yeah.
and the boat was coming, put it this way, I was able to get my board turned around fast enough to get into the wave. I might have gotten 75 to 100 feet out of it. He was getting like a quarter mile.
Yeah.
If I had known that boat was coming and I had known the wave was coming, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Those 2 ladies liked me after that too.
Yeah. I bet they did.
It was so much fun, and nobody believed me at all.
No, I believe you.
People, I'd watch people's gaze kind of travel off while I was telling them about surfing in the Cape Fear River.
Yeah, no,
they'd be like, "No, you're just crazy."
I know what you're talking about because I'm a boat captain and I go through
You've
that
seen
area.
a wave.
Well, yeah, but I also know like where you're talking about, when you come past Carolina Beach State Park and you're in Snow's Cut,
Yep.
when you go through there,
Treacherous.
yeah, and then the markers flip back and forth,
Yes, they
right?
do.
Yeah, and that confuses everybody, but hey, it's the main channel, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's several like points there that are super shallow.
Oh, yeah.
And I may or may not have run aground on them in my.
Wasn't me. Yeah. It wasn't me.
No, actually, I don't think I ran aground there, but it is super shallow. So yeah, I can totally imagine you paddling out of the state park and being in the right place at the right time. Whoa.
But total dumb luck.
Yeah. Awesome.
There's an app.
That's the show, people. It's over. There's your surf shorts.
There's an app that shows when the boats are coming. The size, the country of origin. It's free. Like it's like the thing you point at the sky that shows you the airplanes.
Yeah. So a lot of people are writing this down right now.
Okay,
so there's an app that
Great, you
tells
buggered
you,
it up already.
right? So it tells you like when the big ships are coming up the Cape Fear River.
Yeah.
And then Mike just told you, park at Carolina Beach State Park out there in the end, paddle out there, take a John boat. And Ben Gravy's episode, they've got a nice chase boat, jet ski or something, whatever.
Both.
Yeah. So get out there, look for that shallow water, and you could overlay that on any GPS and find a shallow spot, and you're ripping.
The tide has nothing to do with it either.
Really?
I'm just
Oh, yeah. But I could see, I don't know.
It's all about it.
Yeah, being at the bottom of the bottom contour is the biggest part, but maybe with the tide going out against the ship coming in,
That's
stack it up some more.
Exactly.
Who knows? It might make it close out.
I was pretty sure that towards the end of that video, he was down in Long Beach or whatever they call it now in Oak Island. I thought he was near the inlet surfing a wave too, like the same wave kind of. I thought it was my impression because they showed a couple of ramps. My first
He was
concern,
definitely down at Sunny Point. I saw Sunny Point in the background for sure.
yeah, he was downtown Wilmington. I think he was at Trails End even.
Could have been. Yeah. That makes sense.
He boogered. The boat ramps are going to be boogered up on the weekends for a while from that video.
For real. Yeah, for real. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I did enjoy. I will say I was a little disappointed. I didn't get a call, but that was my own fault. But I was totally thrilled to watch that video. It was awesome. All right, hang on. Jesus, we're 22 minutes into this thing. We gotta.
Man, I can talk.
Oh yeah, no, we got it. Hey, so you're in Maui.
Yep.
And we talked about kiteboarding changing, and there was another thing people were getting to the story. There's another thing.
Tow and surfing.
Yeah, you saw tow-in surfing start
And go.
to appear. Yeah.
I saw it come and go.
Oh, so you think it's gone now?
People are paddling into Jaws mostly now. Not mostly, but
A lot. Yeah. They're kind of swinging back and saying,
water safety guys are still on jet skis.
Yeah, but
Maui County lifeguards.
yeah, they're really pushing the paddling more too, which I think is cool. I would look. This is all so far out of my league.
Me too.
Yeah, I watch Nathan Florence. I love to watch. That's probably my favorite YouTuber is Nathan Florence because he's honest about getting work.
He's a gangster.
Yeah, and he shows himself paddling out. And I don't know. I like to watch Nathan's videos. They're good.
Like the bomb drop into the water from the helicopter.
I didn't see that one.
Oh my goodness. He throws the board out, bomb drops it into a wave and rides on. It takes him maybe 4 or 5 tries out of a helicopter.
Cool. That's cool.
First 2 or 3, 4, however many, he didn't pull it. It did look terrible. And then he sticks it. Like that's what separates like people like him from like mere mortals.
Yeah.
He kept coming back.
Yeah, he kept trying it.
He jumped from about the ridge line on your roof, maybe a little higher even, 25, 30 feet out of the chopper and then right into the wave and continues on.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you see this toe in and you're like, I'm going to get me some of that.
By dumb luck, yeah. My friends bought. They were like the previous year's rentals.
Right.
The place I rented.
Yeah.
And in Maui, you don't really want it. Like around here, renting a jet ski is a good idea because the water's flat.
Yeah.
Even when it's flat out there, there's still a pretty good 1 or 2 foot chop.
I can't believe that they would rent jet skis for tourists to ride in the ocean.
Well, they do it on the west side. They do it off season on the west side where it's
Leeward,
relatively calmer. But still, it sucks. Yeah, it's bumpy out there. It's real bumpy. But my friends bought these 2 used ones. My good close friend made his trailer out of an axle or whatever.
Right.
And our first day, or it was his jet ski, it was his trailer, it was his truck. The jet ski passed us while we're going up a mountain. We're going uphill, pretty steep.
It passed you going uphill?
Yep, 50 miles an hour at least. It went around and then cut into the grass.
And you're like, hey, that jet ski looks a lot like ours.
It was crazy. And the thing was fine. Like the fiberglass on the bottom had a little bit of scratches on it.
Yeah.
But we picked that thing up. It was heavy as hell too.
Oh yeah, they're heavy.
I mean, we somehow, I don't remember how we did it, but we did it. We had to. And we kept using that jet ski.
Nice. So the trailer came apart and they hit the brakes.
The jet ski jumped off the trailer. Just decided they didn't like the trailer. And the trailer was fine. Nothing happened to the trailer. But the jet ski just said, bow, and went right in the road. And it went in the downbound lane. It went around us, went around the double yellow line. My friend had a Toyota truck. And we were both just like, whoa. It was surreal. I mean, that's the kind of thing, you can't make that kind of stuff up.
You had to have a moment like, whose jet ski is that?
Yes. There's the jet ski. Oh, it's passing us. Oh.
We own that.
I mean, you ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
You know that's what to me a jet ski is. It's like you've got the throttle. You can outrun whatever's coming there, you know.
Yeah. Usually things aren't chasing me on my dirt bike, except for my own fears.
Well, that's where the jet ski comes in. The first time I did a jet ski, the guy who owned the other jet ski was behind me and would hit me on the shoulder to go faster and kind of yell in my ear. Yeah. And we were at a place called Kanaha.
So this is a big wave break, Kanaha.
It's right next to one. There's one. It's right off by the harbor in Kaului in Maui. It's called Pier 1. Okay. It's a surf spot like people paddle into, but it's also, you know, when it's big and gnarly, people can't really. It's so far out there too.
Yeah, it's a little better to tow. Yeah.
You can outrun. The first wave I rode, we didn't have any surfboards involved. It was just me and him on the jet ski going into surf.
Just trying to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a good idea. I mean, like, wouldn't it be insane to just be like, hey, you get your surfboard, and I'm going to go out in these like huge waves. And
well, you did that behind a boat before. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, for sure.
So there's that already in you. You know, I just remember catching the wave and him going like this, go faster.
He's tapping you on the shoulder like this wave is chasing us.
Yeah. I mean, the lip came out, and it was just like, I just went right through it, past it. Like I went, I think it was 50 miles an hour or 60 miles an hour on flat water, but it had enough torque in it. Like the two of us just went around this section and came out no problem. Yeah. It was coming back out though. That thing was standing up almost beyond vertical, going over the back of one. Yeah. Like we had that thing out of the water, like we were doing off the lip, almost pow, back down. That was heavy. Yeah. Yeah. You know, there was a clip, about 3 or 4 years ago, and the guys are like, I can't remember, it was on somebody's YouTube channel, and it was on a lot of people's YouTube channels, and they're towing, and it may have been Jaws, and they're going out, and somebody just barely makes it over, but they get like so much air that someone like breaks bones when they land. Oh yeah, yeah. It was brutal. It was brutal. So I could totally see that happening. So your first time out there, you don't even have a board, and you're just like riding this jet ski around trying to just get your bearings, right? Yeah, it was intense. And at the end of that day, my friend kicked me off the jet ski and said, swim in, or he gave me one of these foam surfboards. Yeah. This was in 2000 or 2000 maybe. We were on the outer reef. Yeah. And this board had it was like a boogie board. Yeah. It was like an 8 foot. A lot of flex in it. Oh my goodness. I was terrified because we're on the outer reef. He pushes you off. He's like, get out. So at some point I caught a wave in. It's at a place called Tavares Bay. But on the outside, just me and that blue thing and him zipping off in the opposite direction, I got nervous. How far away from shore were you? I'm going to say 0.3 of a kilometer. Yeah, 0.3, yeah. 300 meters or 400 maybe. In surf. Well, there's waves on the outer reef, and then it was calm, and then there was waves on the inside of this spot that I surfed a lot when I first moved out there, and I love that spot, but I just remember being nervous. And yeah, for sure. This bay was where I did have my one encounter with a shark in the time that I spent out there. Like, I was pretty close to a tiger and got spooked. Yeah, that's not the same as the East Coast. Like, I see a shark out here, you know, I might get nervous, but I'm like, get away from me, shark. If it's a tiger shark, I'm like, oh. Yeah, if you see the back of it in the back of a wave and it's brown, it's like, it looks like a log, but it's brown and gray, yeah. I saw some kids on the beach or on the cliff jumping up and down and pointing and waving at me. And I didn't know what they were pointing and waving at. And at some point, I picked my feet up and put them on the nose, and I put my hands on top of my head like that. Yeah. And I didn't really get spooked until I got into my car after I caught one wave in, got in the car and started shaking like a leaf.
Yeah, you had your Mick Fanning moment.
Man, he slapped the thing. He slapped it, didn't he? I didn't get that. I was too scared to do it.
Saying that. I watched what happened to him, and like it would have been, I would have been a statue of fear. That would have been it.
So the guy from the beach where I called my home break had his 2 twin boys out there when they were 7 or 8 years old, and he boxed the thing away. His board got a bite out of it.
Wow.
He punched the thing in his face. He made international. He was on Yahoo News. This is a guy that I didn't know personally, but I know who he is. And
yeah, he saw him later. Like, way to punch that shark, dude.
He beat the shark's face in to get his boys out, and the boys got in, and he got in. That's a positive ending. You saw this recent thing in Egypt?
No.
Oh my goodness! It's a Russian fellow gets eaten on camera. It's
oh no, I haven't seen that.
Oh my goodness, it's kind of viral. You see the guy's feet come up, pointed skyward.
Yeah.
Then he goes down under, and he's gone there for a while, and then at some point he comes getting dragged back up into the air. But
it's like Jaws, like the first girl getting killed in Jaws. It's like that. Yeah, that's terrible.
This is and there's no way it's faked. It's real, and you can hear people screaming on the beach. It's from about here to your. It's not even that far. It's 25 feet away.
Oh my gosh,
it's horrific.
That's terrible. So let's get back. So,
Forgive me.
Believe me, that's a worthy tangent. So you ride this jet ski. Then the next time you go back and you're like, we're going to surf this.
Yeah. I only surfed one time, only one day.
So what board did you use?
It was a 7.4 Locomotion. It was kind of it was a pintail.
Yeah. Well, to me, that sounds perfect. You know,
like Charlie Smith.
Right.
I rode my first winter board was a board by a guy named Bill Foote. Then I had a Charlie Smith, and then I started riding Tommy. They were lightning bolts from Oahu.
Right.
Tommy Nellis. I could say that name. He makes he's a lightning bolt shaper. Yeah. And the biggest board I had was a 7.6 that I could duck dive.
Yeah. And
if it was too big for that board, I wouldn't go out.
I wouldn't go out. And anything that's too big for a 7.6, I mean, like
7.2 was my go-to. 6.10, 7.2 was remember Andy Irons and Bruce showed up. They were riding 5.11s, doing hands-free takeoffs. I was not part of that crew. I was like, I want to be on the outside.
I'm going to get in as early as possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a longboarder too. So the biggest waves I caught out there were on longboard, 9.6s. Like in Honolulu, probably the biggest wave I ever rode was out there on a 9.6.
That's crazy.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of water.
Can't duck dive that board.
Yeah, no.
There's no duck dive on a 9.6.
So tell me about getting drug into this thing, like.
On the jet ski?
Yeah.
I was already there because I'd done wakeboarding.
Right.
I used to pull behind on a surfboard behind motorboat, like a little john boat.
We do that around here.
So that was easy. The wave that I caught was it was Outer Sprex, the first wave. And then we went over to Pier 1. I surfed Pier 1 without a jet ski, so I knew the break.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's cheating, put it that way.
Yeah.
You're up and riding and doing turns before the guys that are on the outside are even paddling.
Yeah, it's like hey, I lucked into this. Like if you're paddling, hey, I lucked into this on the shoal, and now I'm just turning. I'm gonna get myself in the perfect spot.
Yeah, you can do. It's kind of like the stand-up paddleboarding. I watched that evolve. I watched that go from not happening to huge overnight.
Yeah. There's a pro tour now. They're surfing stand-up paddleboards. It's a pro tour.
A separate tour? I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah. This is a guy I did a show with back in the fall. His name is Ollie. He owns a website called Rad Season. He told me a story about surfing in Taiwan. He's a super cool guy, and he's actually an announcer sometimes for their tour.
Badass.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I clicked on one of the things, and they're surfing like good waves on paddleboards, and they're doing maneuvers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I watched Laird Hamilton killing it. Like, people would talk shit about him, but he rips. I mean,
anybody that feels like they can say something about Laird Hamilton is full of themselves.
I had to duck dive
dumb.
him. I duck dive him twice, maybe 3 times. That's scary. When he's riding one of those things and you duck dive somebody on one. Yeah. It's like you're waiting for your back to get creased.
Yeah, for sure.
There was a guy that, a couple, it was a guy and his girlfriend, I think they're married now, who was from Carolina Beach, who came out to Maui as a sponger.
Yep.
And he's a major, I think he's in the top 5 in the world.
Sponging?
No, stand up.
Probably
on that. He's partners with some heavies. I remember seeing him out in the water one time where it was hard to get out. He was out there on a stand-up, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah, how did you get out here?
That guy's long ago eclipsed anything that I've ever done on a surfboard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. So let's finish this up with you getting towed in. So you get towed in. Does it get you in right the first time because you guys practiced?
No, it was just the easy. I mean, he knew the break too. There wasn't that much to it. We didn't even have a proper tow rope.
Right.
It didn't have the little triangle on it.
Sure.
It was a piece of rope with like a stick or something on it. Something stupid.
All that means is you're in early.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a blast.
Yeah.
I really had a good time, and I had more fun riding a jet ski than I did surfing now because the wave that we were doing, it was kind of a big dumper.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of, I don't know. I just remember thinking that we were wasting our time is what I thought. It was be surfing without a jet ski out there.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy the heck out of riding a jet ski.
Yeah, that's cool.
I watched a lot of people doing it that really knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And it's cheating.
Yeah, it is. But it's not cheating when there's no other way.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Jaws, people they didn't think they could surf Jaws. It was called domes back in the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
It was a geodesic dome on the cliff.
Yeah.
It was like a hippie commune. And a friend of mine who's an older guy, he's like 14 years older than me.
Yeah.
Got his eyelid split in half just trying to paddle out at Jaws from the rocks down by the shore break or at the edge of the water.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've watched some of the videos.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I saw Nathan Florence paddle out there.
His jet ski get tossed up on the rocks or anything like that. Yeah. I've seen the helicopters pulling people out of there, and you can get mangled in those rocks. They're like the size of like your boat, and they roll. Yeah. They move.
Oh, what? Yeah. What?
Big rocks.
Oh, my God. The rocks are rolling around?
Yes. Not all of them, but some of them.
Some of them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I sat down on a rock one time, and it turned out to be a turtle. And it stuck its head up, and I flew off that thing. It was bigger than this table, though. It was a big grave. Can you imagine duck diving into one of those?
No.
Forget about it.
No. I saw a big turtle one time in Costa Rica. I was out by myself, and it just like came up out of the blue and Austin and all, and it was just like, it was like it shocked me more than seeing a shark here. You had the and you're like, it's a shark, but the turtle was so big and. So odd to me that like I lost my breath. I was like, what, like I had this moment like, what is this? And anyway, so yeah, I can totally imagine like seeing one of those guys out there.
I have a controversial position on turtles in general. Like you watched them go from being almost extinct and endangered to, I don't know what their status is now. I think they're bringing the sharks in. I mean, the abundance.
I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
I haven't studied it for any type of thing. Well, hey, thanks, man. Thank you for being on the show. I'm going to have you back again. Dude, great to see you. Awesome.
All right.
Savage Surfboards since 1982. Know your shaper. Outer Banks hammocks for the ultimate lay. obxhammocks.com on the web.